Hi, this is the FilmCrop channel. Today I will tell you about the first South Korean drama of 2009 called 2012 Tsunami. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The action takes place on the night of Christmas 2004 year. In the Indian Ocean, somewhere near the Indonesian peninsula, people are trying to escape on a ship in the middle of a raging storm. Choi Mang-sik with his brother and other guys is trying to help Uncle Dong-jo, who was seriously crushed by a fishing cage. Calcutta, India. Kim Hui shows James a graph with seismic activity, then sends a message about the need to evacuate people. Republic of Korea, Busan. A man on the phone asks if they could find and save his loved ones. Kang Yong-hae is worried about his father, hoping that all those found will be alive. The helicopter skids, as a strong wind blows in a transverse direction. There is not much time left and the situation is getting out of control. Mang-sik unsuccessfully tries to rescue his uncle. While dying, Dong-jo asks the guy to take care of Yun-hae. The news informs about the tragedy in which thousands of people died. The girl is crying bitterly. Haeundae, the summer of 2009 year. The beaches are filled with vacationers. The screen broadcasts that an earthquake on the eastern side of Japan is approaching to the west. The boy Sung-yun sings Mang-sik counting with a thread in his mouth. A man comes in and calls him to help. The father slaps the baby on the forehead, he bursts into tears, falls. He immediately apologizes. Dong-chun said about Yun-hae, and the man immediately ran, pulling out the child's tooth. On the street, an elderly woman shouts at a girl and grabs her by the hair for selling near her restaurant. Kang Yong-hae's eyes change when the gray-haired fury mentions her dead parents. The guys separate the women, drag away the raging Gim-ren, and the girl silently leaves. Mang-sik accompanies Yun, trying to calm and support. A representative gentleman with business partners is coming towards us, talking about the prospects of a location for building a market. An egg flies into it, a passerby insults him. The locals don't particularly welcome his plans. Professor Kim Hui talks about the danger of mega tsunami, but his arguments are not taken seriously. A girl, Lee Chu-ji, enters quietly. After the meeting, they talk together. She plans to hold a cultural exhibition in Haeundae. He asks about Jimin's daughter. The girl immediately appeared and hugged her mother, but did not react to the man. Chu-ji said that she did not want the baby to know about her father and communicate with him. Meanwhile, three girlfriends are sunbathing on the beach, joking among themselves. Guys have approached them to get acquainted. And now they are already riding on a yacht, flirting sweetly with new acquaintances and drinking drinks. Kim Hae-mi decided to go out for a smoke and fell overboard. One of the rescuers came to the cries for help. Choi Hyun-sik threw a rescue buoy, hitting the girl on the head, and she completely disappeared under the water. I had to dive in and pull it out by the hair. It was not easy to save her, as she was struggling and screaming. Seeing that Kim was unconscious, he decided to give her artificial respiration. Then she wrapped her arms around him and bit his lip. Finally coming to her senses, Hae-mi wondered who he was. Mang-sik waves to Yun-hae, who is sailing on a boat, and she smiles back. Once on the shore, he brought her a large bag of vegetables. The assistant informs the professor that another earthquake has been recorded in the Hokkaido area, and that something is wrong with the data. The congressman says goodbye to his partner, and discusses with a subordinate the dubiousness of the case. The guys at the table drink and remember Dong-jo, and also discuss wives and relatives. Yun-hae serves snacks. Gim-ren shows up, demanding his plates from the girl. Mang-sik takes his mother and the others away, and later invites the girl to a baseball game. Rescuers are also watching the competition. One of them notices that the other has a bite on his lip, and asks what kind of girl she is, who immediately appears in front of them. Alone at a table, Hae-mi reproaches Choi Hyun-sik for a black eye, and demands compensation for the damage. The conversation is interrupted by a call. He is urgently called to the base, but the girl, pulling out the phone, does not let him go anywhere. A couple walks on the evening beach and informs their girlfriends that they won't be back today. Mang-sik's mother is talking to her husband. At this moment her son and his friends noisily barge in. She immediately starts to scold him. The man, coming out, shames Mang-sik. Yun-hae discovers a box of new dishes and a note at home. Kim Hui asks Yo-ji how the training is going. The next day, the professor and his colleagues lower a measuring device into the water. Jimin is crying. Hyun-sik is looking after her while her mom is at a business meeting. The girl's mother calls her friend, but he does not hear the phone while sunbathing on the beach. A man is informed about a radon leak. He runs to Jimin, but she can only be handed over to her legal guardian. The father offers Mang-sik help to start his own business, but he refuses. The guy blames him for the tragedy that happened with the sunken ship. The professor buys the girl food. The mother returns. She scolds the baby that she has moved away from Hang-chan. Him-ki tried to intervene, but only got turned away from the gate. Haeundae bursts in and shouts at Hyun-sik. The uncle asks the guy to help convince his brother by promising his own store as a reward. Dong-chun comes to Mang-sik with Yun-hae, and tells him that he will soon open his own business and wanted him to help him with this. Kim Hae-mi and the lifeguard are talking at a table, but it soon turns into a quarrel. She screams and bangs her head on the table. Yun approaches Mang-sik, they drink together on the beach and remember the past. She asks us to go to her father's grave together. The guy dreams of a fateful night, as he argued with his brother about the cage, which eventually broke and killed his uncle. Hugging his son, he woke up in a sweat. Hae-mi is walking with a guy and during the conversation, she kisses him. They're being watched. The weather is getting darker, lightning is flashing, crabs are starting to get out on land. Not far from Tsushima Island, Kim Hui and colleagues are checking seismological data. The trajectory of activity is similar to that of the 2004 year, and there is a possibility of a repeat of the event. They are recording more and more earthquakes, and he goes to the director, trying to warn about the danger of the Haeundae district, where more than 1 million people live. A mega tsunami threatens to hit Korea. If Tsushima goes to the bottom, the waves can rise up to 50 or even 100 meters. Yun-hae and Mang-sik at the grave of their father, the girl tells the deceased about how the guy cares about her and that she is ill. She walks away from the grave, and Mang-sik is left alone. The guy is choking with tears, he asks for forgiveness. Later, Choi Mang-sik talks to his younger brother about Yun-hae that he would like to marry her. Dong-chun offers to meet another girl from Seoul. But he refuses. Later, Hyun-sik packs a watch, and decides to leave work for Hae-mi, but he is met by enemies. Jun-ha claims that Kim already has a fiancé. The man is happy that the Japanese have approved the contract for the sale of the Golden Beach Haeundae, and shares this with Yun-hae. He offers her to come to his office to find connections, to meet the right people, but the girl refuses. She asks her uncle to postpone the rent for the boat, he dismisses her condescendingly, and leaves. Mang-sik comes to Yun, fireworks explode in the sky. He gets down on one knee and offers her his hand and heart, but she promises to answer tomorrow. Consent will be a sign, a red handkerchief on the boat. All residents admire the iridescent sky, and everyone sees something of their own in the festive sparks. Hae-mi was waiting for Hyun-sik, and finally, when he came, the girl threw him a scandal, but he only answered her that he did not want to see her anymore. The woman wants Dong-chun to get a better job, but he doesn't listen to her. He comes to Kang Yong-hae and she happily shares that Mang-sik proposed to her. Kim Hui continues to call the director warning about the tsunami. Mang-sik wanders along the road, the younger brother drives up, and says that the girl will not come. He reproaches him for losing his uncle because of him, and that he told her everything. During the dispute, a fight ensues and suddenly a bird breaks on the windshield. A whole flock is raging in the sky. Lee Chu-ji is at a cultural exhibition. She receives a call that greatly alarmed her. The professor argues with the management that it is necessary to evacuate people, but he is adamant. It is impossible to interrupt the event. Danger is coming to Haeundae. Lee comes running and yells at Kim Hui, believing that he wants to ruin her career. He asks to send his daughter to a safe place, but she, being rude, leaves. Yun-hae is crying in a boat with a ring and a box, and throws a red handkerchief into the water. The woman is going to get on the bus, but changes her mind and gets on it. Kang Yong-hae comes to her uncle and says that she does not need a store, asks him to give the money to Mang-sik. As she leaves, she announces that she is going to leave Haeundae. Everyone is busy with their own lives. Someone chooses shoes at the market, someone is going to go to hot springs. Meanwhile, clouds are gathering in the sky, and the earth is splitting underwater. Birds are rushing, rocks are shaking. Seismic activity is growing. We can't wait any longer. An order is received to clear the coast. The girl runs into the meeting and tells the congressman something. They leave the room. Yo-ji is going to Jimin's hotel. The waves are coming. Unsuspecting Hyo-mi and Jun-ha are riding a yacht. The guys are walking in the aquarium. Mang-sik tries unsuccessfully to talk to Yun-hae. At the same moment, an alarm is sounded, and an alert is issued demanding to leave the lowlands. Lee Yo-ji runs to the hotel. The beach shudders from the first tremors, people fall. The lights go out in the elevator. Cars collide on the roads. The glass of the aquarium bursts and the water escapes. At some point, everything went quiet. Kim Hui calls his ex-wife and breaks down to save his daughter. 10 minutes to the oncoming wave. Just 15 kilometers from Haeundae, a shaft rises, overturning the ship. Panic begins. Rescuers rush to the helicopter. Jin Min looks out the window and sees a terrible picture. The girl is struggling, locked in the elevator. The professor hurries to the girl. Unheeded looks at the deserted beach and the gloomy horizon. Grabbing hands with Meng Sik, they break away. Han Sik and his colleagues fly to the ship to help. People in a panic do not notice the fallen child. The father tries to break through to her. He grabs his daughter. The maddened crowd rushes literally over their heads. A huge shaft collapses on the bridge with people who did not have time to escape. Then the deserted beach is covered, and behind it, high-rise buildings, which are so mercilessly destroyed by the elements. A powerful column of water demolishes everything in its path. People in cafes, shops, cars. Jimin is trying to climb higher in the toilet. Han Sik sees the guys in the lifeboat. Unheeded looks with horror at the impending water wall. They run with Meng Sik with all their strength, but the wave overtakes them. Dong Chun is on a wet bridge trying to find survivors. Everything is falling. Kang and a guy are trying to climb a pole. The broken wires are about to fall. As soon as they manage to climb, the remaining ones in the water were electrocuted. Kim Hui is already in a room full of water. He finds Jimin, but she is carried away by the stream into the broken window and barely manages to grab her hand. Chu Ji is desperately struggling in the elevator. Hyun-sik saves Hae-mi, and stays in the water. He needs to pick up more Yuha. A professor with his daughter on the roof calls Chu Ji, and finds out that she is stuck in the elevator on the 10th floor. He gives the phone to his daughter and breaks down to help her. The girl tells the girl the truth that Kim Hui is her father. The water in the elevator rose higher and covered her head, but they came to her in time, opening the doors. Dong Chun lit a cigarette and threw a lighter, which landed very close to the leaking fuel. Swinging, she fell. He jumped up, running away from the explosion. Huge containers are flying into buildings. Meng Sik slipped, but Unheeded tries to hold him. He told her that he loved her and let go of her hand, but his father picked him up. As soon as the guy managed to climb, the old man was blown away. Hyun-sik and Jun-ha are lifted, but the cable cannot withstand two people, and begins to break. Then the rescuer takes off the watch, asks to give it to the girl. She screams that she has the strength not to do this, but he cuts himself off from the cable. Falling down, he smiles and waves at her until he is covered by a wave. Yo-ji and Kim Hui ask rescuers to pick up their daughter. A woman takes her away, promising to take care of her. The parents stay downstairs. Jimin, crying, shouts "Daddy." Turning, they see another wave coming. In tears, they remain standing in bitter embrace before the inevitable fate. Dong Chun gets out of the water on the container. Jim Ren also escaped, but Sung Yun is floating in the water. She pushes the guy after the baby. A day of mourning, people gather to honor the memory of the dead residents and rescuers. In one of the photos, Hyun-sik Hae-mi is crying with a watch in his hands. That's all that's left of him. Yun-ho and Min-sik cry over a photo of his dead father. Rescued children play and draw on the beach. Hard workers discuss the news after the incident. It is known that a few minutes before the tsunami hit, the uncle cancelled all transactions. And Dong Chun received a Medal of Bravery. He saved 13 people under the bridge. Among them was Mansika's mother and son Yun. Dong Chun himself is crying over a photo of his dead mother, who went to buy his shoes that day. Yun-hee went to collect the dishes in the drawer and found a red handkerchief. He was immediately picked up by Mansik. They ran, laughing. The shawl was picked up by the wind and carried high into the sky. How often do people quarrel and do not appreciate such important moments of life as caring for loved ones, feelings and a simple calm today, because you never know how life can change in just one day.